And we're on. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Wyld Ways. And today we get to hang out with the most beautiful of them all. Am I speaking about Sydney? No, I'm talking about Rose. But yeah, you too. Rose, the queen. That's the queen of the plant kingdom. And who better to introduce her and talk about her than one of my closest friends in the whole world, one of those like soul sisters, my friend Sydney. Oh, here's the Rose.
We had to bring her
So
on.
you have to bring her on. And so Sydney today joins us from the land of eagles and mountains, the sacred
And
valley of,
condors.
and condors, the sacred valley of Peru. And I want to tell you, like, extra thanks because Sydney had to get up so early so we could make this work because I'm still in India and it's about to be sunset. So many, many, many thanks for this. And yeah, so this woman, this human being, you guys, is one of the most unique people I've ever met. Ever met. She used to be a comedian and a voice actress in Chicago. And, like living that rat race that some of us have escaped, and to the point of almost breaking. And that's when ayahuasca stepped in and called her. And we're all so grateful that you answered that call. So she went to Peru, she met La Abuela, and then everything changed. She quit her job and the boyfriend and sold the car. And on a leap of faith with nothing but trust. And by the way, she tells those story in her podcast, but we'll tell you about that later. She landed in Costa Rica, and that's where we met. And if you're ever curious about the exact moment Sydney and I met, it's actually in the chapter Once When I Was Tree in the book of the same name. So yeah, check it out. And yeah, so Sydney is like always expanding, always growing. She's trained in shamanic Reiki, conscious connected breath, Akashic records, plant medicine integration, and it doesn't stop there. Like she's training with an actual Shipibo elder right now, and she'll tell us about that better than I can. And yeah, just offerings and retreats and the rose. And I would like to just hand it over to you, but I thank you so much for joining us. It is such a pleasure and an honor to have you today. So yeah,
Oh,
Mike, over to
it's
you, my
so
friend.
it's so good to be here, Maya. Thank you for having me. And yeah, you know, I have a podcast, so I'm always giving other people introductions, but it was really sweet to receive an introduction from you. And um yeah, just really grateful for you having me on and giving me this opportunity to talk about our beautiful divine Mother Rose. And yeah, just so excited for all the amazing projects that you're doing and work with the earth. It's really inspiring.
Thank you. So pick it up where I left off. Okay, so you got to Costa Rica on a breath and trust, and then how did you get from there to being so dedicated? I mean, like your whole life right now is dedicated to the rose, basically. So how did you get
Yeah.
to that point? How did you meet her? Can you tell us this story?
Okay. Yes. How did I meet Rose? Okay. So when I was in Costa Rica, I was diving really deep into feminine mystery studies with through the path of the rose. And I was working with the rose, particularly as I was diving deeper into my own womb work, like learning more about the womb, um, energy womb healing sessions, tapping into my feminine power, tapping into my creative potential, learning about Mary Magdalene and her path and just really opening myself up to reclaiming this divine feminine essence. And I'm also a Taurus sun in astrology. And so Venus is my ruling planet and Rose is the ruling flower of both Taurus and Venus. So I've always had these kind of Venusian energies circulating through me. Um, But I would say that was probably my first like real introduction to Rose, was just learning about feminine mystery studies and what it means to be a woman and the divine mystery of the feminine, and how she's just this ever evolving, ever unfolding, so not linear, just beautiful, um like the feminine is just this beautiful creatrix, this beautiful mystery, like this beautiful portal to creation and potential and expansion. And I feel like the rose is such a divine representation of that.
Mm.
So when I moved to Peru, I really connected with the white hampi roses here. And hampi is a Quechua word that basically means medicinal. So
Mm.
they are gorgeous roses that grow on bushes that are hundreds of years old, and some of these bushes are like massive. They stretch on forever. And I sat a dieta with her. And for those who don't know, a dieta or a diet is when you devote a specific amount of time of sacrifice to working with a specific master plant. And what this means is basically, for this period of time, there's no salt, there's no sugar, there's no oil, there's no spices, no onion, no garlic, no sex, no looking at social media, no talking to other people. Like, it's basically just cutting out all the fun stuff of life and eating as bland and as little as possible, and isolating yourself so that your body, your temple can receive the plant. So you're drinking the master plant every day, a brew made of the plant. And with Rose,
In
we
tea
work with all
form.
parts in tea form. Yeah, very strong tea form. And you're just drinking her every day and communing with her spirit, and almost merging with the plant. It's like when you sit a dieta and you do it properly, you basically become the master plant. Like you merge with the spirit of the plant and you receive their teachings and their healings and their wisdom and their insights, and each plant has their specific mastery of healings and teachings. And I could go into that with Rose, but each color, even just with Rose, has her own specific set
You mean
of
like the
healing.
white rose are different? The healing of the white rose is different than the pink rose or the red rose, or is that what you mean?
Yeah, so of course it's Rose, right? So it's all going to be like working with the heart, working with your feminine energy, working with compassion, healing the wounds of grief, all of that. But each rose has a specific set of mastery that they work with within that feminine healing realm, if that makes sense.
Yes. So I love what you just said about, I had never thought about it, how the just the shape of the flower having these petals that open and having all these different layers, and like I've interviewed other people where like Damiana is just, the petals are on an even surface, we can say. And it's true that rose has that complexity which matches kind of your life, like unfolding and opening, and yeah, it's so beautiful. So it's funny, like it's kind of a chicken and egg. It's kind of a Rose and Sydney rather than chicken and egg, like did you feel called to Rose because she already matched your natural personality, or did working with the Rose and Dieta change you significantly?
I'd say that working with Rose just brought me into a deeper remembrance of who I am. Like,
Yes.
I'd say, like, it's really interesting because when we were in Costa Rica, right? Costa Rica for me was very much this reclamation of my wild woman. I was the tigress. I was very much in that wild woman phase. And
Yes, you were.
um
I can vouch.
yes, I was. And Costa Rica, it's the jungle, it's the beach, it's sexy. You're in a bikini all day, you're running around naked eating fruits off the trees. Like, it's this very primal environment and the perfect place to like reclaim this authentic primal human expression. And I think for me, it was just really about breaking free of these chains that I felt like I had bound myself to with my work in Chicago. And I was just reclaiming what it means to like be a woman in this body and of this earth. But when I moved to Peru, I had to trade the booty shorts in for ponchos. And it was like the tigress had to grow up a little bit. The tigress had to kind of mature into her next phase of womanhood. And I feel like my first year in Peru, I was still really figuring out like, who am I? Who am I? What's my path? I was on my path, but I felt like I wasn't fully anchored in it yet. Like I wasn't fully grounded in the full truth of who I am. Like I was always a very authentic and truthful person, but there was still something that wanted to be unlocked. So after a year of living in Peru, I decided to do a Rose Dieta. And man, through this dieta, like everything shifted. Like I really got the full grasp of my purpose. I feel like I was really able to open up different places within me that allowed me to just soar within that growth and that maturity as a woman. Like, I feel like after my Rose Dieta, my offerings and my service shifted. I was almost like she trained me to be a greater leader for my life and a greater leader for my mission and a greater leader for my service. And she opened up these kind of divine mother oracle aspects within myself. Like my channel got stronger. Um, my sense of trust got stronger. I was able to open up my heart and find massive amounts of forgiveness for
Mm.
one person that I was working really hard to forgive for years. You know who that is? And
Uh-huh.
also forgiveness for myself for that situation. And yeah, really just welcoming, honestly, more grace into my life and more grace into myself and more, I was dieting White Rose, and White Rose represents purification and divinity. So she is
Mm.
here to purify all the places within you that are separate from the divinity and your connection to the divine, and this knowing
Mm.
that you are a creation of the great creator of God. And she helped restore a lot of worthiness, but it was difficult. Like I had to really go through the thorns in that dieta, but ultimately I came out on the other side, a completely new version of Sydney, but a more truthful version of Sydney, like a
Mm.
more embodied version of the truth of who I am. And I feel like Rose is just this incredible teacher, especially for women, but I've seen her work miracles for men, where she's just here to help you become the divine leader of your life. And she's really here to help awaken and activate your unique divine essence and frequency and bring you into the beautiful embodiment of the unique woman and feminine being that you are.
Mm. Yeah. I remember that phase of your life. I remember it wasn't all rose petals and like I just remember you were crying. You got put through the ringer with that diet, and you were so brave to choose it, to stick with it. So like logistically, you picked the white rose yourself, and then you would make a tea and you drank that all day. Because I remember for this one, you didn't go to the jungle for rose, right? That was Bubensana. That one you did on your own.
Yeah, so rose grows here in the Sacred Valley, and I like to diet plants where they grow because I feel like they really hold the frequency and the wisdom of the lands. So I dieted her here in my house. And yeah, you use all parts of the rose. For this one, my friend Avalon guided me in this dieta because she had dieted rose a couple times. So I was receiving guidance from her. Um and now we're a team. She works my retreats and we do ceremonies together, and we're both on the rose path. And yeah, she's such a beautiful ally and master and when it comes to rose and healing with rose. Um but yeah, she kind of guided me through it. And, um, with the rose, every part of rose is very intelligent, right? You have the blooms, but you also have the thorns. And let me show you
And the
the thorns.
stem.
Look how
Oh,
massive these are.
yeah,
So
those are
this is
massive
like a bush
thorns.
that's a few hundred years old, and these are the thorns that I would diet.
Mm. So
So
when you say you dieted the thorns, some days you would actually make a tea with the thorns.
every tea had the thorns. So you would brew a tea.
With
For a
the
couple,
whole everything, the
the
stem,
whole
the
stem.
thorns.
You want the leaves, you want the stem, you want the thorn, you want the blooms, you want the buds, you want the entirety of the plant. Now,
Interesting.
you can kind of each part of the plant has its own energy and healing. So like, if you feel like you've got like a wound, an inner wound that's really lodged in there, or maybe something deeply lodged in there that you're looking to clear, I highly recommend adding more thorns to your brew. But let's say maybe you, towards the end of the diet, you've moved through the thorns and now you're in the blooming phase. Like for the tea that day, you could add in more blooms or just blooms. What's really sweet is like the little buds like that are like just about to flower, and it represents
Mm.
youth and planting seeds. And then there's, the leaves. It's just all parts of
Tell
the
me
bush.
about the
And
leaves and the stem, because it's like it's just something you don't hear. Like even if you buy tea, it's just the petals. And I have
yeah,
never
so
heard
I
of
mean,
somebody dieting the whole plant.
yeah, so the thorns are definitely a diet for diets. Like if
Right.
everyone was going around drinking around rose thorns, like it'd be like there'd be a lot of like thorny personalities, because the thorns definitely do activate that more thorny part of self. So if everyone was going around drinking rose thorns, there might be like more conflict in the day-to-day life, because you have to really give yourself time to heal and work with the thorns and actually utilize their healing, and give yourself space to like move through whatever emotions that the thorns are bringing up in your own time and space, so that you don't project onto others. Very
Mhm.
important.
So like
Um,
when you're drinking the brew with, let's say, a lot of thorns, what does it feel like?
yeah, so it's gonna affect everyone differently. Like, as me and Avalon like hold these dietas, like the thorns affect people differently. For me, I just felt so, and granted, I'm in diet space, right? When you're in a space of dieta, you're open, you're sensitive, like you are in a very vulnerable place, which is why it's important to conserve your energy and be in isolation, because any outside influence can really affect the diet and
Mm.
really affect your state of being. And you don't want anyone else's energy like coming into you in that space. So, you're in a very open, raw, sensitive place. For me, the thorns, oh my God, I was so like the first few days, like I was so irritated. Like I remember anything that wasn't in the frequency of the queen or queendom just really triggered me and irritated me. Like I remember I got to a point where I dropped a banana, a just peeled banana on the floor, and I hit the deck like crying. But it ended up triggering like a deeper wound within me. Like it wasn't about the banana at all. It
Of
allowed me to
course.
go into a really deep process. And what's really special about the thorns is like they're such a crucial part of the diet, because they really go in there and they trigger the inner wounds. They go in and they poke the thing that's stuck. They poke the anger. They poke the places within you that are keeping you small, and they open it up in a very thorny way so that you can heal it, look at it, move through it, like let it release from your body, so that once you regeneratively work through that wound, the thorn then becomes this protector part, like a healthy protector part of like, we've moved through the wound, we've accessed the gift, and now we have this beautiful night of protection helping us hold our boundaries in life and
I
hold
mean,
our worthiness.
that is the function of the thorn for the plant, so that makes sense. And that's interesting what you're saying, where like I used to work, well, I used to sell mushrooms, magic mushrooms, I'm talking about. And there was always this myth of the bad trip. And to me, there is no bad trip. And especially like when you're going to engage with medicine of that potency and you're open to it, like I love how you describe it. It's like, the banana drops on the floor and you're like, and you lose it. And to really be able to engage with the medicine and understanding that's the gift. The gift is like Now you see the thing. Maybe before it was hidden, and now it's exposed for you to work through. And so there is actually no bad trip. It's just you, the thing, the rose, the thorn did not create the angst. It revealed the angst for you to move through. And yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, right? The kind of work.
No. No, it's not, but it's really like it's a beautiful reminder of like when we allow ourselves to look at those crunchier parts. Like that's the thing. It's never a bad trip. Like the medicine will just always show you what you're ready to look at, what you're ready to see.
Yes.
And when you give yourself that permission to just soften into it, like trust into it, and like know that there is a gift of intelligence, even in the deepest, most uncomfortable, crunchy parts of ourselves, like that's what helps you regeneratively heal and create more space for light to come in, for divinity to come in. And that's like White Rose's magic, right? She purifies you. So like her thorns are going to get in there and they going to purify the places within you that are separate from your connection to divinity or have kept you separate from divinity. And they're going to return you back to that state of wholeness. And she's going to heighten your frequency and bring you back into the archetype of the queen, of the divine mother, and really help anchor you deeper into your worthiness as a woman and as a feminine being and as a human on this earth, and really help you see just how special and unique and amazing that you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would imagine because the brew that you're drinking also contains the petals and the pistil and all those higher parts. You're actually, as you're going through your darkness, you are also supported at the same time.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm curious, what is like the essence of the stem?
So, so by the way, this is not a rose that I diet. This is just a regular rose. The humpy roses are much more delicate, but I decided to use a beautiful red rose as an example for today. But you think about the stem, right? And the stem is the backbone to rose. It is the channel, the bridge that not only holds the beauty of her bloom and the expansion that comes from that and the channeling that comes from that and the wisdom and the essence and the beauty that comes from that, like that allows her to shine, but it's also rooted into the earth. So the stem is this beautiful bridge between divinity and between the earth, between the astrals, the world, you know, the higher world, and also Pachamama. And so when you're rooted in your stem, you're connected to the intelligence of Pachamama that ultimately reflects the intelligence that lives within your body as a woman of this earth, as a daughter of this earth. And so when you can be in the beauty of your bloom, petals wide open, fragrance like full on, like you are just in your divine essence, but you're grounded into Mother Earth, you're steady in it, you're working with her intelligence, you're navigating her seasons, her changes and her shifts. Like that's where groundedness comes in, wholeness comes in. So the stem is actually a really crucial part because that's what's anchoring you and grounding you into not only your truth and your essence, but the intelligence and wisdom of Mother Earth.
Mm. Now, for your retreats, because after you did your dieta, you have committed your path to serving the rose and bringing that medicine to other people. So you have these retreats of the rose, and you collect the roses yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, I do. I harvest from it's funny because you know the bushes aren't in bloom year round. So as soon as I hear of a bush that's in bloom, I come a running with my tobacco as an offering and my clippers to harvest. But yeah, I harvest them myself. And you know, when I harvest, I always say a prayer, like how at first asking permission, of course. Like when you ask permission from the plant, if you feel kind of like an opening in your heart, like a yes, like an energetic kind of opening with the plant, then that's like a signal of like, yeah, you're good to go. But if you feel like a no or contraction or something just feel off, it's probably not the time to harvest and the plant doesn't want to be harvested.
Mm.
Um, I have yet to get a no from Rose.
I was
So
gonna ask, yeah.
she's only in bloom for a couple weeks. So it's like towards the end of her bloom, right before her petals turn brown, is like the perfect time to harvest because she's had her time in the sun and the light and like she's about to die anyways. So right before the withering process, like kind of like the last couple days of her bloom is a great time to harvest.
Do
And I
you
always say a prayer.
do you dry them so that you have them year round, or?
You have to dry them. If you're in a dieta and you get lucky and there's a bush in bloom, like right before your dieta, you can make the tea with fresh blooms. Like fresh blooms are better for that. But yeah, I harvest and save for dietas and retreats or people who come to work with. And you just when you cook her, you reheat her for a couple hours until her petals are translucent.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Translucent. Okay.
yeah. And yeah, oh, I always say a prayer. Like I always pray, like, help me pick the most potent, perfect blooms possible for the women who are gonna come and heal with your majesty. Like, like align me with the intelligence of your flower and the petals that I meant to pick, the blooms that I meant to pick for the specific women, even if I don't know who they are yet, that I know are gonna come and heal with you. And so that kind of allows me to guide the harvesting process and
And from
pick.
your photos, it looks like you have to go quite high to get them, no?
That was one bush that I
Okay.
was really committed to. But yeah, I mean sometimes she's really tall. Like if she's like old, like she's tall. She's a very tall bush. Sometimes she even presents herself as a tree, which is really interesting. But most time the bushes are within arm's reach, so it makes it easier.
Yeah. And are they right around, you're in a right Paysac where you are, or do you have to go up in the mountains to get a different quality of blooms that is more mountain energy like?
Yeah, so we I've gone to many places throughout the valley. They are around Pisac. There's actually a bush about a 10-minute walk up from my house, and it's like this huge, like mother land. What it called? The mother load of roses. I mean, this like bush is ginormous and it's gorgeous. But it's only in bloom once a year. Sometimes there's like, little parts of the bush that'll be in bloom at different times of the year. But I've gone to like 45 minutes from where I live, 30 minutes from where I live, like that way, this way, down this river, up this mountain, like following a pin that someone sent me that like it's difficult. Like, yeah, I've traveled all around and harvested these roses. Like basically when a bush is in bloom, a bush is in bloom. So we go.
It's like sacred geocaching to find the blooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's now, no? It's now that they're in bloom.
Some bushes, yeah, some bushes
Yeah.
are in bloom now, others no.
Yeah.
So we have like we have a calendar, like of which bush is in bloom when.
That's funny.
Um, we can go and harvest. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, okay, so these women, so you only take 5 women at a time because you like working with smaller groups, right?
Yeah. I like the intimate containers because it really allows us to go deep within the healing. And I feel like it creates a space for the group to bond in a more unified way because it's just a small group of women. And I feel like it allows each woman to get their own personal support that they may need.
And what does a retreat look like? Like these women arrive and I think the first day they get to bathe in rose, right? Like in a bathtub.
Yeah. Yeah, not quite, but if I had a tub, we would totally do that, but I don't have a tub. So yeah, this retreat, it's a medicine retreat. It's really here to this retreat is designed so that you as a woman can awaken your divine feminine power. You can bring healing to again those inner thorns, those inner wounds within yourself that are maybe keeping you small or blocking your sense of worthiness or blocking your creativity or blocking like your capability or potential to create. Not necessarily blocking it, but whatever is keeping you distracted from honing into that energy within yourself. But also, it's just a beautiful retreat to connect with your prayer, to connect deeply to Mother Earth, to remember how to move and work with life with your own rhythms and cycles. And that's reflected within nature. So we do this by drinking the rose tea. It's not a dieta style rose tea, but we drink the rose tea every part of the retreat. We're embodying her healing and her teachings as she's working within you. Breathwork ceremonies, sweat lodge. We work with Wachuma plant medicine at a very sacred site here in the Sacred Valley. And Wachuma is a cactus psychoactive plant medicine that works amazing with rose. I take you into the mountains where we spend the night at an indigenous family's house, indigenous family of shamans' house, where then the next day we horseback ride up into the mountains and we plant some serious prayers and offering with the mountain. It's called a despacho ceremony. It's a very ancient ancestral tradition to the last living descendants of the Incas here, the Caros. Yeah, feminine embodiment workshops like breast massage and breath work, and there's a whole array of different tools and modalities and ceremonies that we work with, to just, again, get you connected back to your essence, back to your body, back to your feminine power, but also really help you utilize this incredible portal that is the Sacred Valley of Peru to anchor in your prayers, to leave what it is that you're ready to let go of and welcome in those more empowered, truer parts of yourself, so that when you go back out into the world, like, you are fully anchored in your divine essence and in your um gorgeous frequency as the unique woman that you are.
Mm. So I always thought of Rose as the queen, the queen archetype. When I write stories, I like to have, like you talked about the wild woman. I think of it as there's this evolution. You start as the princess, and then you evolve out of the princess. The princess is the one that likes to be taken care of and pampered and all that. Nothing wrong with that. And then you evolve out of that into the wild woman, and the wild woman kind of breaks out. Like, she wants to be alone, she wants to be in the woods, she wants to talk to trees, and she does whatever she wants. And you break out of the wild woman into the queen, which is where you leave the forest to come back into the queendom to rule the people, to bring back what you've learned. Now, would you say this is accurate of Rose, or does she not really operate on the archetype growth of humans? She's just different. She's her own thing, and she's going to react differently to different people. So does she follow any of that archetype work, or is she something
I
else?
think So I think she is the archetype of the queen. She is the archetype of the divine mother. Like, her frequency, her healing, her wisdom is so high that it can't be described anything else as the queen, you know? So I feel like no matter what stage of the womanhood archetype that you are, whether it is the maiden, the princess, the wild woman, even the crone, like, Rose will always activate and awaken those parts of your inner queen within you. Because here's the thing, even if you are still in the maiden princess phase of your life, there's still a queen that lives within you. And just as when you reach the queen divine mother state, like, that princess maiden energy still lives within you too. That wild woman still lives within you. So it's all these parts working and moving together, right? And you can think of it as like future self, present self, past self, right? It's all versions of you that are constantly, yeah, working together. And I feel like the deeper you work with Rose, the deeper she's going to bring you and help you awaken and activate the queen aspects of self, the queen frequency within you.
Mm. Now, it seemed to me, and I may be wrong on this, I might be wrong, um, that the queen is an element of responsibility. I mean, she's not free to just run around half naked, like you said, like, she has almost a duty to whatever she was gifted. There is a certain amount of responsibility, to duty to the community. Do you feel that when you diet with Rose, where like something shift, where you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm done playing, like you said, like, time to grow up now?
Yeah, I think for me, she really helped me step into leadership in a whole new way. And, that's kind of the space I'm holding for the women who come to work with me and come to these retreats is like, how can we work with Rose that you can be the divine leader of your life, so that you can be the queen of your life, and so that you can lead your queendom, which is your life. Like it doesn't even have to you don't even have to be just a leader in community spaces. Just how can you be a leader in your own life? And I think for me, she really had me get more serious about how to serve this mission, how to offer my gifts, like how to step out of hiding and come into the light more and be of service to something that's so much greater than myself, and honor these gifts that God has given me, and also honor not only my lived experience in this life but my lived experience in all lives, to go out and to be this this I guess just service provider of like healing and growth and expansion. And yeah, so I definitely think you're on it. Like I agree with you. Like she is the leadership plan. She really helps you hold more responsibility, welcome in more responsibility, um steward more projects, steward greater service. And like how beautiful, because that leads us to growth and evolution. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe every human on this earth has come with a specific set of gifts and art that's meant to be shared with the world, especially women. We are such unique beings, like literally, those who were born with a uterus and a pelvic bowl, like a womb, like we hold the gateway to heavens, where we bring a soul into human form. Like that's special. That's really special. And I think that it gives us an kind of extra connection to that divinity, to that source, like, and it gives us this extra power to actually create and birth things into existence. And I feel like so many women in the modern world, myself included back in the day, like aren't tapped into this ability, or this truth about your body and your divine design. And so I feel like Rose is here to help reawaken creation within your
Mm-hmm.
body and get you inspired and have you feeling capable of like, yeah, you can create anything you want in this world, and your creations can thrive in abundance and prosperity and expansion and create magic for your life.
Mm. So, what happens to a man who diets Rose? Does he get a greater understanding of women, or does he also? Because I mean, the archetypes are not gender specific, Because I'm a woman talking to a woman about a very feminine essence plant, I use those, but it's like the archetypes could be reframed in non-gender terms as well. Where there is like the wild child that turns into the monarch, for example. So
Yeah,
what happens
or
to
even
men when they diet Rose?
so I would recommend Rose to a man who is healing any mother wounds within him, who has some
Mm,
healing to do with the divine feminine. Like if you notice that you've always attracted a certain type of woman when it comes to romantic relationships and it hasn't worked out and it's just ended in chaos, or maybe you have some deep-seated mother wounds because your mother didn't quite show up for you in the way like a mother should because she has her own
mhm,
wounding. Um, Maybe it's a man who is very rigid in life and is having trouble accessing his emotions and accessing his inner feminine waters. Like, I would recommend to Diet Rose, because she
mhm,
will open up that feminine aspect of self and help you heal the divine mother within you and your connection to the divine mother, the earth, your mother, the women in your life. And we're all, though we come into these bodies like with certain body parts, and every single person on this earth has a feminine energy and a masculine energy, and just kind of a different ratio of each. And so Rose is for everyone, but she's here to activate that feminine energy within you and within
mm,
your body and within your soul, because we all have it. Even if you
mm,
are to claim to be the most manly, masculine man there is out there, you still have feminine energy. Even if you're non-binary, like there's still a part of you that has a feminine energy. Like it's the duality, right? You're not just one, you're not just the other. It's a blend of both. Which I think makes like being a human so cool, you know, because everyone's got their own blend and it changes and evolves. But yeah, I would say Rose is really here to help heal the wounds around the feminine and
Mm. And I
bring
like
you
what you
in.
said, specifically with the mother, with the, yes, I've noticed that. So I don't work directly with Rose, but I serve cacao. And last week, they buy these flowers here in India. When you have an event, they buy like these bags of flowers, and there's always marigold, something white that I don't know what it is, and then these super super fragrant pink roses. So I use most of them for decoration, and then I was like, and then I put them in the cacao, and that mother energy, I think that's funny. I didn't think about it before until right now. But it's like, I have never had so many people come to me after the ceremony and wanting to like they were saying things like, thank you so much. You hold such a safe space. I like coming when you're here. And then one person even said that, like, you have such gentle mother energy, which is funny because I don't have kids. And I think it was the cacao. It was the rose cacao. That energy permeated. And I liked it so much that I ended up taking the rest of the roses home. And so I did my little cacao Rose Dieta where I drink cacao with rose every day. And I mean, I told you, it's like this week, I watched my whole world transform by no doing of mine. Like literally, yesterday I was in a different apartment, and it was like, you know what? It's too loud, and I want to be able to interview. And it was like the world almost, yeah, it's that queen energy where the world meets you at that frequency where it's like, oh, you're uncomfortable. Like the masculine really stepped up and be like, well, let me find you another apartment. With like, here, now you're closer to plants. You'll have more oxygen. That's what he told me. So now I'm in this quieter, cooler apartment. And yeah, like the week before, there were like, it was like more on the enduring front. It's like, yeah, it's like 100 degrees and I can do it. I'll find ways to be comfortable. And then after I started drinking my rose cacao, I was like, no, I deserve a cooler apartment. And boom, 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 like everything happened so fast. Everything. It was wonderful. So it doesn't even have to be as drastic. Like you just put some rose petal in your cacao in the morning and you will see some difference, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, she's such a high frequency and she works with the heart. So it makes sense that everyone, and plus with cacao too, I mean, they just activate each other.
Yeah.
Like they're both such powerful feminine heart medicines. And, but yeah, Rose really brings you into that frequency of the heart and this like, yeah, she just heightens your frequency, you know? She's really good for shifting energy and bringing you into more of that like high, like bloom queen vibe. Like I feeling the sun on my face and my essence is shining and I'm in my heart, you know?
Yeah. So do you ever, probably not, but do you ever feel like the roses are like, what do I get out of this?
So plants are they're of divine service. Like they have gone through the soul of a plant, the master teacher of a plant has gone through their own initiation to then become the plant that they are to serve humanity. Like the plants, right? We're humans living on Earth, right? And we've chosen this planet to grow and evolve on. And we're living on a planet full of teachers, the greatest teachers I think we could ever ask for. They're all right here, like just as we step outside. And I feel like Rose is really here to be of divine service. I mean, she is calling and activating so many people, especially women, right now. And it's like happening very fast. And she's initiating a lot of women because we are moving into a more matriarchal way of living, a more maternal way of living, right? Because our planet is the divine mother, and we're meant to like move according to her rhythms and cycles and our own rhythms and cycles. And so I feel like that's kind of where the world is headed. And so she's just here to wake people up to that. But I'd say like plants love offerings. They love being sung to. They love tobacco as an offering. Like they love to be noticed and loved on. Um, and Rose specifically, like when you go into a dieta, actually this goes with any master plant. When you are going into a dieta, there is a contract. You come to the plant being like, I'm looking to heal this. I'm looking to expand in this way. Like, I'm looking to grow in this way. And I want you to be my teacher and I want you to help me. And the plant goes, okay, great. I will give you that and so much more. But you have to sign this contract with me and follow this, this, and that so that I can go in and do my work. Some people
Mm.
don't understand this. Like there's some people that I've met that have been like, why would a plant ever make a contract and da da da? But I'm like, they're spirits just like us. And it's an exchange, right? Like you are sacrificing the daily comforts of your life to receive the healings and teachings of this plant. Like it's worth it. Like it's a huge exchange, you know? And so I feel like when you show up in this devotion to the plants, they see that you're ready to do this work. And so they will bring you more into that work, and they'll give you more gifts and they'll give you more healing. But if they see that you're not really taking them seriously, like they'll still love you, but they'll serve you the lessons that you need to like understand that devotion and understand that contract. It's a sacred exchange, right? Like that is the exchange.
Mm.
So I feel like the plants are ultimately here just to serve and love. But of course they love attention. Like they love
Mm.
being sung to, and they love offerings, and they love being talked to and asked permission. Like they're beings just like us.
Mm. So there was something else that you mentioned that I had never heard before. Could you tell us about the spiral path of the rose?
Yeah. So let me bring out my rose again. So for those watching the video, I want you to just take a moment and look at the rose spiral. See how it's this beautiful spiral that's constantly going in and in and in, and it's almost infinite? This
Yeah.
is like a reflection to walking the great mystery of life, walking the mysterious path of life. What's so beautiful about the feminine is that she's this ever evolving energy and being, and none of it is linear. Her path is like a spiral, right? She's constantly moving up and down the spiral, and the spiral really represents not only the infinite potential of creation, but it represents the great mystery of your path and the infinite potential of what it is that your path can hold for you, like the gifts that your path can hold for you. So, to walk the spiraling path of the rose means to walk and move through life with trust, with listening to your intuition, with sharing your gifts with the world, with embodying your divine essence, and walking the path of the great mystery of life without any sort of trying to control what that path is going to look like, or trying to manipulate that path, or it really asks you to let go of control, let go of your ego, and trust in yourself and trust in God, and trust that life is always leading you on the path towards your prayers. You may not know what that path looks like. You may not know the twists and turns and little roadblocks that you may encounter on that path. But ultimately, what's important to remember is as you're walking this path, as you're walking this mystery, as you're embracing the mystery of life, how can you see every opportunity that comes your way as a guiding path leading you deeper towards your prayers, towards your destiny, towards your intentions? because everything that comes into our field is a test or a teaching or a blessing. And so, how can you move through life with the aspect and the essence of the spiral of the rose, anchored in your power, in your truth, in the blooming essence of your bloom, like with the thorns by your side, but also with this openness to life and this ability to move just as you would move in a spiral, move with the flow of life, move with the spiral of your life. And so we as women who are here embracing our inner feminine energy, we're also embracing a feminine way of living, which means we are living with cycles and rhythms. We are attuning to our own natural rhythms and cycles and moving with the rhythms and the cycles of the earth to create this harmonious path for ourselves that ultimately lead us towards our prayers.
Mm, wow. So that was beautiful. Yes. The spiral path of the rose that leads you back to self and to your prayer. I love it. So, wow, I feel like I learned so much and I cannot wait to re-listen to everything and extract all those juicy bits that I might have missed the first time. So before we say goodbye, would you if there's people out there would like to work with you or contact you, maybe go on your retreat, you also I know work on one-on-one. So would you would you share how people can stay in touch with you?
Yeah. So I feel like the best way to stay in touch and connect is through Instagram. So my Instagram is at La Tigrosa, which is LATIGROSA. I also have a podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube called Tales of Tigrosa. And a website, tigrosacollective.com, which has all my offerings. If you want to come and retreat with me in the Sacred Valley of Peru, I offer private retreats, but I also have our next women's retreat, September 5th through 12th. It's what I talked about earlier in the podcast. We have 4 spots left. So, yeah, if you go to my website or my Instagram, you will definitely find the link to learn more and apply and connect with me. I also have a private healing online mentorship called Bloom. It is a private one-on-one 6-month healing journey where you and I get to work one-on-one, working with a range of different modalities and tools and teachings of the rose to essentially help you reach your eternal bloom. It's a really beautiful way to receive high level support on your spiritual healing journey. Together, we look at different habits and patterns that you're ready to break free from, or that maybe have been keeping you small or have been keeping you from experiencing greater levels of love, of pleasure, of ease, of peace in your life. We're here to help you waken your unique divine essence. It's a beautiful ceremonial space where you get to connect deeper to your body, your soul, and the divine. You get to awaken those higher soul codes that live within you. I've worked with people who have come to work with me to step into greater leadership roles within their job or their work environment. I've had women come to me to heal after abortion and reconnect with their sexual sensual energy. I've had women who have come to me and needed help not only honing in and activating in their gifts, but gaining the confidence to share it with the world. Yeah, I've had so many different clients with all these different prayers and intentions come to me. And what's so beautiful is that every single one of them leaves this program more connected to themselves, more connected to life, more connected to the earth. They're able to move with life instead of getting caught up in life's challenges, or not caught up, but instead of having trouble navigating through life's challenges, they're able to move through it easier. They're experiencing more pleasure, more peace in their life, more harmony within their body. Their nervous systems are regulated. So we do this by working with a range of different modalities, whether it's breath work, whether it's psychically channeled Akashic record readings, whether it's my shamanic energy healing sessions, feminine embodiment work, spiritual mentorship. We pick and choose whatever tool is most supportive for you over each session within a 6-month period. And every session is a ceremony where you just get to be held in a safe, loving, intentional space for you to awaken your authentic expression and go within and move through whatever it is that you're healing or that you're stepping into. So thank you all again so much for this beautiful opportunity to talk about Rose. I'm really excited to connect with you. And thank you, Maya, who has disappeared from this episode. But thank you so much for having me. Highly recommend, if you haven't already, checking out her book. And yeah, I'm just excited to see all the rest of these amazing podcast episodes. So with that, take care. I'm sending you all so much love from the Sacred Valley of Peru, and I'm excited to stay connected. Mwah. Mwah.
So we had some technical difficulties and my Wi-Fi went out, so I disappeared. But luckily, I love when my guests are so empowered in their queendom that they're like, the host disappeared, no problem. I will take over this interview. Thank you, Sydney, for such a beautiful closing. And I know we will see you again on this podcast because you have more wisdom, you have more plant allies. So, thank you everyone for listening and catch us next time on the Wyld Ways. Ciao.